Well, hello there, Tankers of the Blitz universe. I'm Flossie, and today I figured I should do a review on the Centurion Mark 5-1. This is a vehicle that is, of course, available in the Luxury Lounge event for, well, it's a pretty hefty price, honestly. It's gonna cost you like around 70-ish million credits, or if you spend like premium time, then it'll cost you like, let's say you spend like, what is that? It's going to cost you like 120 days of premium, or it's not a cheap tank. However, I will be going over whether or not this tank is actually worth it for you to spend your credits or your resources on in general. So, to start things off, let's go over the tank stats here, starting with the gun. The tank deals 190 damage on its standard shells, 160 on the premium, and 250 on the HE. So the alpha damage is actually fairly low on this thing. It's a pretty much a pew pew gun. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And in terms of the penetration, 226 on the standard, 258 on the premium, and 42 on the HE. It's nothing special for a medium, but it's also not that terrible either. And I do in fact use gun rammer on this thing just to get that DPM up a little bit more. And now the gun depression is 10 degrees, which is really nice. And it'll allow you to work most hills in the game. In terms of the gun's accuracy, the aim time is 2.9 seconds, and the dispersion is 0.299, so that's actually really nice. Gun is quite accurate, nothing really to complain about that. Now moving on to the mobility, the tank does go 45 forward and 20 in reverse, so that forward speed, it's nothing special. It's honestly a bit slow in terms of mediums. And you just have to be careful not to get yourself caught out in a spot where you can't really run away from anyone, because basically every other medium and light is going to be able to catch you at tier 8, and especially at tier 9. So yeah, because the power to weight isn't anything special, although 20 reverse speed is fairly nice. Now, in terms of the armor profile, I won't really dive into it too much. It's pretty simple. The turret is extremely strong, and the hull is extremely weak. That's basically the armor profile of this tank. So you want to use your 10 degrees of gun depression to your advantage, and basically sit hull down as much as you can. If tanks see your upper or lower plate or your hull for any angle, basically, you're going to get penned right away, because this tank has very little hull armor. Yeah. And actually, one more thing I should mention before I go into game. It has 2300 DPM, so nothing insane, but it's also not bad either. So overall, this tank is pretty solid. I do think it's actually quite fun to play, and I like how it has that, it has so many good things going for it when you are playing hull down. Like, it's really annoying for people to go up against you when you are playing hull down and you're just peppering them with shells non-stop. It's kind of fun to do that, and we are on actually a pretty decent map for this tank in general, so we'll see what we can do. The only thing with this tank is its hull is really big. That's one of the main downsides of this tank. Is yes, it's very good on when it comes to its turret armor and staying hull down. However, in order to get it hull down, you have to find a spot on certain maps that will actually hide your whole hull, because of how big it is. So yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. You can see here the top speed, it's really nothing special. Like, bro, I'm not even going that much faster than the Smasher. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but oh well. Anyways, we're gonna make our way towards bridge, obviously, because if their team did end up going here, being hull down would have been really nice. However, since their team is not here, I'm gonna pepper this Pantera with a couple of shells here before he does in fact make his way out. We do only get one shell into his rear, so it's okay. And I am going to keep pushing forwards, because I do see the majority of their team is over by BCAP. And so yeah, this Pantera is basically by himself, although he has like a 1-1-1 with him, but I'm not too worried about that. So right now, I'm going to use this tank hull down, because of course I am tall enough. This is actually one good thing about having a tall tank with good turret armor, is I am in fact tall enough to see over this this little wall here, and the Pantera can't really do anything about me, because the turret armor on this thing is really good. You do have a hatch though, so you have to be a little bit careful of that, but it is pretty small, and it's very hard to hit if you are moving around. So yes, overall this tank is very good hull down. That T-28 actually just screwed up his shell like horribly and managed to bounce my my track wheel there. I'm assuming he was aiming for my, like, lower plate, but it just missed. But anyways, we're going to finish off the WZ-111, and all that's left, really, are these two tanks in front of me, the VZ and the T-28. So, not a pretty difficult game. I mean, their team just kind of got steamrolled. Let's ram this guy, because I do want a little bit of extra damage. You can see there, the tank is fairly heavy, so ramming people is not always the worst idea. And, I actually do like to ram people in it, and unfortunate, we don't get the kill. But that was a pretty solid game. We dealt 2,500 damage in our first game, which, plus the ram, brings us just under 3,000 damage, which is very, very nice. And you can see just for the DPM of this tank, it really can help you. And especially if you can put yourself in a spot where people like that Pantera, they couldn't really do anything against me. And yeah, it's a pretty solid game. Let's get into game number 2. So yes, although the mobility is kind of sus on this thing, if you stick with your team enough, you shouldn't really have too many issues with it. At least it has good reverse speed. Most tanks, I would prefer having 20 reverse speed than good forward speed. Like if this thing went 55 forward, but had like 15 or 10 reverse speed, I would rather it be in its current state. Having good reverse speed, it just helps you in so many situations, especially when you're trying to wiggle back and forth to prevent people from penning your hatch. It's really, really useful for that. So we are, of course, on, what is this map? Yamato Harbor. I literally forgot what map this was for a second. We're going to make our way towards, ooh, I was going to go medium side. However, this is looking a little bit sus because our team is not going medium side at all. And from what I see from looking at their enemy team, it looks like they could all go medium side for the most part, which is, yeah, it's not very good. I am, of course, going to, like, stay with my team. Again, that's one thing in this tank is if I had just gone medium side completely by myself, that would not have been very good. But, you know what? I do need to spot up something for these TDs to actually shoot at. Oh, wait a minute. What is this guy doing? Okay, well, it seems like I'm fairly safe to just pepper this Progetto here. I'm going to stay close-ish to spawn here, and hopefully we can get another shell into him before he does back up. There we go. And he's not even really shooting at me. I mean, he wouldn't really be able to pen me from that spot anyways. But, you know what? I do see that their team is not on heavy side. So yeah, I'm going to play super passive here. And I'm just going to wait for this Progetto. That's all I really need to do is hold medium flank and wait for our team to destroy that ISU. Luckily, the ISU is not in their normal TD bush, so I don't really have to worry about him firing at me, which is quite solid there. And it looks like whatever this tank is, I've literally never seen this thing before. Whatever this is in front of me, it's not really going to do a whole lot to me, so I'm not too worried about it. And we're just going to keep sitting here. He does pen me once, and we do get penned by the Scorpion, but picking up that kill was far more important than saving my HP, so that's good. He's now out of the game. It means we can't get crossfired anymore. So, yeah, basically, now I have free reign of this side of the map here. And this Emil is in a very bad spot because he can't really do anything to me, and I can keep shooting him over and over again. Although, you know what he can do? He can actually YOLO me, and he could actually clip me out, so that's actually not very good. Yeah, you know what? I could actually be screwed here. I probably will be screwed here. Oh, he did just screw up his... He actually screwed it. He literally just screwed it. Bro could have killed me. But now I will give him the wrath of my DPM. And we're going to try and get some shells into his turret. Because of how tall we are, of course, we can just look down on his turret armor, and it becomes pretty much useless. So, yeah, there we go. We did not actually die to that Emil 1. Although, if he had not bounced that second shell, he would have killed me. So that was very unlucky for him. But, yeah, another pretty solid game. I mean, this was a complete and utter steamroll, so not really much else to say. That's crazy, Scorpion. Bruh. Interesting. Anyways, the Caliban is basically screwed, so I'm just going to go right on over here and get a shell or two into him before he's dead. There we go. Not as much damage as the first game, but still a pretty solid result for such a low alpha damage tank. In this sort of tank, you're going to be doing so much shooting, and you're not really going to be getting up that much damage in it. It's actually pretty funny, because you're like, oh my god, I've been shooting this whole game, and then you get a result like this, where you've done, like, okay damage, but nothing crazy. And it's just because of that low alpha damage. Anyways, That's game number 2. 2 wins in a row. Not terrible. And we're going to get right into our third and final battle. So yeah, overall, the Cent, I say it's probably worth it if you do have extra credits lying around, or in fact, extra boosters lying around, because boosters in this event, honestly, if you're not going to be using your purple boosters at all, then just get rid of them. Like, I think I got rid of like 10k purple boosters. So if you, honestly, out of all the resources you could spend in this event, I would say get rid of your boosters first, like your free XP boosters or whatever the boosters are that they will take from you in this event. Get rid of those first. Save your premium time and your credits if you can, because those are way more valuable. And you should be able to get this tank with just boosters if you have enough of them. And honestly, for that price, I would say it's definitely worth it, because this tank is really fun, and it can make a boatload of credits if you do enough damage. And especially because you are a medium tank, you won't be firing as much premium ammo as you might shoot in a heavy tank, because you're going to be fighting other mediums. And most mediums at tier 8 have armor where you can actually pen them for the most part with just standard ammo. So it's not even that bad. And yeah, anyways, we're on Alpenstadt for our third and final game. And I will, of course, make my way over towards this ridge here, because I can go hull down. And, yeah, and we'll see what we can do. On the enemy team, they do have another Emil, Hori, which is kind of dangerous, and a Lorraine 40-ton, and some other tank destroyers that I really don't want to get shot at by. So we're going to play pretty passive. I do see our team is, in fact, going the other side of the map. But because I'm in such a good hull down spot, I'm not really worried about them at all in terms of like them shooting at me. I should be perfectly fine here. And you can see the Emil just doesn't want to deal with me. He does, in fact, just completely back off of that. And yeah, so as of right now, I'm doing okay. I'm going to see if I can spot that Emil. I don't think I can from this distance, but yeah. I'm going to see what their team does in terms of like how many of them get spotted. I do see they have capped the sea base, so I'm going to assume that the majority of them are on that side of the map, so I should be okay to push up a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. I'm kind of hoping that that I can catch out one of these like camping heavies, because hopefully the rest of their team is kind of just leaving them alone, but we'll see what happens. Or can I catch out this Emil in mid? I could maybe do that as well. Let's see if we can actually get a couple of shells into this Emil. He looks like he's basically screwed, and he's by himself, so that's good. Good combo right there. Let's get a shell into the Emil, and he's dead. Let me just, unfortunately, I can't clear him there. And we do have a Hori in front of us. Not so fun indeed, but we do get a nice roll into him, and we do have an RHM in front of us as well. See, I do get a really nice shot into his turret there. And what in the world, bruh? What am I looking at right now? We have a Lorraine on our side. Okay, well, I'm going to go for the Lorraine because he is by himself. And once he does shoot his clip, he's going to be basically screwed because he doesn't have much DPM. And yeah, it looks like he's trying to run. Well, guess what? I can load HE. And because Lorraine has, like, literally no armor, I'm going to be able to HE him on the side and in the rear. And just like that, bro is dead. Goodbye. And we're basically we've already won the game. Like, it's already 835 on the cap. I've done 1900 damage, which is, it's okay. But this is just going to be a complete and utter steamroll once again. Thank you, Wargaming. Great matchmaker. But anyways, just like that, we broke the 2000 damage mark, and we'll get another shell out into the Hori. And let's see if I can get one more. No. Bro dies instantly. So yeah, not a bad game. I mean, those were pretty decent showcases of the tank. It would have been nice to get a less steamrolly game to actually show the tank in a brawling scenario. But, I mean, for the most part, we did get some good hull-down gameplay. We were able to absolutely annihilate a bunch of people and use our DPM to wreak havoc on the battlefield. And just like that, again, like I said previously, I do think this tank is worth it, especially if you have... Let me just move over to my boosters here. If you have these purple boosters, you can actually get a decent amount of diamonds out of them. You can see here, you can sell these ones, and you can get, like, I mean, that's not crazy amount, like 1,000. It's basically you're converting 1-to-1 almost. Like, you can see here, you get 1,500 diamonds for 1,000 of those, and then it's basically the same. Actually, you get more from these ones. What are these ones? Combat XP boosters. So, I mean, yeah. If you have a surplus of these, then by all means go for it, but I would not recommend you spending actual gold on this thing. Yeah, I mean, unless you think that 6,000 or 7,000 gold is worth for this tank. I mean, it's not terrible. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, if you have extra resources, this is what I'm going to say. If you have extra resources, this tank is worth it because it's a lot of fun and it's very solid for making credits. You can see here, whenever my thing will load, you can see we made a decent amount of credits each of the games that we played in it. So yeah. Anyways, for any of you out there who have not yet subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend you do so, as it's a fantastic way to support the content I make, as well as stay up to date when I post videos almost daily. And with that, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.